because this is the word of the Lord to Christian musicians. I cannot use you if you play for secular artists that are sinful and help them prosper. Many Christian musicians, they have become gig players. They have side jobs where they help the wicked prosper, and no longer can you be the sound engineer for the wicked. No longer can you be the drummer for a, a band at a seedy bar just because they needed a musician. Who are you? What are you doing? I thought you were on the Lord's side. So which side are you on? It's so now the love of money causes you to help darkness and support darkness and push darkness and help their movie and help their sound and help their music get to the top of the charts. They were celebrated by Satan and you helped them get to the top. No, God can't tolerate that anymore. It's like, who is on the Lord's side? You either righteous or you either holy, or you're gonna be on the other side helping Satan.
Y'all love triggering me. Y'all be sending these videos like, it's about to get him. All right, so here we are with this argument again. We've had this argument a bunch of times on the channel, and I don't mind engaging in it because I see this dogma kind of floating around a lot, and it's this false dichotomy that's created that as a Christian musician, I cannot just, if I'm a Christian musician or singer, and I call myself that or I ascribe to that, therefore, because that I cannot connect with, do anything with, associate myself with, play for, gig with, perform with, according to his logic, produce for, score a movie for, anything that is completely non-Christian. And if I do that, I am proliferating and helping the kingdom of Satan. Interesting, it sounds spiritual. It sounds spiritual. And and before you start typing, stop typing. You just heard the first sentence that I said, and you already started typing a whole paragraph. You're not listening to nothing that I'm about to say. So I want you to stop typing. And I want you to listen. Listen, boys and girls. Listen with both your ears. Because we create this false dichotomy for musicians and singers that they cannot do anything with their gift apart from the church. You know what I'm saying? He talked about gig players and we're doing gigs. And most people don't understand that the connotation, not the etymology, the connotation of the word gig, if you go back to 1920s jazz musicians and stuff like that, you can study this stuff. It's online. You can find it online. That gig to like certain jazz players, when we came up with the term of a gigging musician, they use the word gig to mean God is good. So if they got a job playing for something or someone or something, and they was able to make a little bit of money to take care of themselves, they wrote gig, God is good or God is great. You can find that online. Look that up. So gigs, there's nothing wrong with that. And he talked about like them are playing for the church, but they have a side gig playing for a bar or playing for whatever. So that if that by that logic, no Christian, not just a musician, not just a singer, no Christian, period, should have any gig or any job, you know what I'm saying, that is directly connected to anything that promotes the kingdom of Satan. I regret to inform you that the music industry is not the only industry that Satan is over or has any kind of control over. The entertainment industry isn't the only satanic industry. The medical industry is satanic. The political industry is satanic. The clothing industry. Like, so you have to ask yourself, where am I buying my shoes from? Where am I? Amazon? What am I ordering off of Amazon? What does this company believe? We don't ask ourselves that question. We assume that all of these other companies are just everything that we're putting our money, everything that we're working for. You know what I mean? Every company that we're working for, it's got some sort, and we just turn our parts of our brain off because we're like, oh, well, the musicians are helping Satan because they're playing the music. And the music is ungodly, but you're not thinking about like the company that you work for. You don't even talk about who you voted for. And there's a whole demonic, aspect around who you voted for, the whole political system. What are you spending your money on? Have you bought an iPhone? You got an iPhone. Yo, you're watching this video on YouTube. Do you know that the CEO of YouTube is not a Christian? This YouTube is not a Christian platform. Neither is Facebook. But you're supporting and helping to proliferate these things, but because the musicians are more of a visible standpoint, you want to lock them into this system to say that this is the only place that you can utilize your gift at. And I have a problem with that because you're in the standpoint. Here's the biggest problem I have with it is that I don't know anything about this pastor, but is he paying his musicians a livable wage? And we're not talking about $500 a Sunday. We're not talking about that. That's poverty. $500 a week is $2,000 a month. That's $24,000 a year and some change. You know what I'm saying? That's poverty. You cannot live on that. No one can live on that. So what would we need to do as musicians to provide for ourselves? You know what I mean? To make money. What would we need to do that? Oh, I need to go work for Amazon. I need to go work a side gig. I need to go drive for. None of these organizations are Christian organizations. None of them. I regret to inform you. You're still, whether it's the lesser of two evils, you're still in an evil. You're still promoting evil. You're still promoting a system that is ultimately satanic. And then you use the love of money argument. The love of money is not the root of all evil. It says it's the root of all kinds of evil. So money or the love of it is not the root of every single piece of evil, because there's a lot of evil that exists on this planet that has nothing to do with money. Ever heard of crimes of passion? People that kill people because of passion, and that has nothing to do with money. So the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. But just because I want money or I need money, you know what I mean, to survive does not mean, boys and girls, does not equate that I love money. If I'm asking for payment for a service that I am rendering to the church, I am giving of my time. We're not talking about sound check musicians. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about sound check volunteer musicians. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people that do this, that put in 40 hours a week for a ministry, 20 hours a week for a ministry, 25, 30 hours a week of your time going into prepping for Sunday. Those are the people that I'm talking about. People that create tracks and stems and practice and coordinate with volunteers and do all of these things that are necessary to keep a music ministry functioning. Those people deserve to be paid. I don't care. You can miss me with all of the comments on that. Stop typing. You can miss me. You can miss me with that, because if you're putting that amount of time in and you're not generating a livable wage, then you're not paying me a livable wage, you have no control or any kind of input on what I do apart from that. You know what I mean? To generate my income, to generate my wealth, to generate whatever I need to take care of my family, to provide. There's a big difference between that and loving money. If I love money, then I'm going to do seedy things to get the money. And we're not talking about producing an album for an artist or playing at a bar. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We look at a bar as being something evil, but like every restaurant, Chili's serves alcohol. Chili's has a bar. You shouldn't eat at Chili's then if you believe in that. Don't eat at Chili's. They have a bar. They're serving alcohol. By you going there and getting those Southwest egg rolls, you are supporting a system that is providing alcohol to another individual that's causing them to go home and beat their wife. Our brains just turn off when it comes to this argument sometimes, and we don't consider every facet of the argument. It's so easy to jump at the musician and say, don't play here, don't do this, your gift is for the Lord. But what about your gift as a nurse? What about your money that you're making as a factory worker? What are you doing with that? What clothes are you buying? What shoes are you wearing? What purses did you purchase? What mall are you going to? What land? Who's your landlord? What does he do with the money that you give him? What about your mortgage company? Your car note company? What does Honda believe? What does Chevy believe? What does you got a Tesla? Elon Musk, bro? Doge? You support that? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, let's go deep. If you want to go deep, bro, let's go deep. Let's dig in there. Let's keep it 100%. What are we doing with our money? Period. What are we doing? What are we working at? Period. Now, that out the way. Let me give you the flip side of the argument, because you guys don't think that I'm balanced in it. Let me give you the balanced part of it. Now, with that said, as a musician, as a singer, you have to have enough of self-discipline, enough self-awareness, and enough self-worth to know what you want to do with your gift. Personally, because of what I believe, there are certain songs that I will not produce. There's certain artists that I would not work with because I don't believe in their message. You know what I mean? And I have the maturity to make that decision. But I'm not going to turn down a wedding gig paying $500, $600 for that weekend because the whole set is Brian McKnight and Luther Vandross. Those are R&B songs that I'm playing. What's the difference from me doing that at a wedding than doing that at a bar? The same top 40 songs, the same love songs. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Because you're not singing TD Jake's sacred love songs at these weddings. Y'all not doing that. And if you are, y'all weird. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have the level of maturity and understanding to be able to connect, because otherwise, as Paul said, if you want to be not if you want to disassociate yourself from all unbelievers and not be connected to them, then we would have to go out of the world. Who are your friends at work? Who are your friends? You mean you have no non-Christian friends in your life? None. No non-Christian friends. You only associate with Christian people. If so, you're weird. You're a very weird person. If you're so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good, that you cannot be mature enough to take your gift into the marketplace and affect change there. I know so many musicians and so many producers that have worked on records, that have worked with secular artists, that have worked with that, you know what I mean, with all kind of people in that are non-Christian, you know what I mean, that have been in positions to be able to showcase the gospel. And we're not talking about stand up and preach to them. Paul says that you are a written epistle, read and known of all men. So with that being the case, again, as a believer, you just have to have complete maturity to know what and where and who and why to connect with, to do work with. So that's I could be here all day talking about this thing. As believers, you got to be mature enough to know where, who, why, when to connect with your gift. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you doing something, playing for something, recording for something secular. That's not ultimately or vehemently like promoting the kingdom of Satan, because truth of the matter, anything that we're doing is promoting this system in some way, form, or fashion. None of us have completely clean hands when it comes to this. If we've ever invested in anything, put our money in something, bought something, the different places that we work, I think we need to all have a degree of maturity and talk to musicians. Talk to the people. If you think that this is what musicians are on, you don't know enough musicians. You need to talk to more musicians. You need to get more musicians in your Rolodex. You know what I mean? And talk to them and see where they are and see where their faith is. A lot of them know more word than you know. That's the truth of the matter. Anyway, that's my take on it. I think we need to we need to chill on some of this stuff, and really pragmatically think through this stuff and not try to be all charismatic and deep and spooky spiritual. And then for musicians, you also need to be balanced. You need to be balanced, and you need to know your limits. If you're an alcoholic, you don't need to be in places where they're serving alcohol. If you have if you have like a tendency to cheat, you don't need to be around a lot of women. You don't need to be in the club. But if those things are not in you, then go forth, man. Do your thing. Just make your money and stop paying attention to this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? That's my take. Love it, leave it. You can start typing now. Talk to you guys on the next one. Yo, what up, guys? It's your boy, John Mike. If you've been rocking with my content and you want to go beyond what YouTube allows, what social media allows, that's exactly why I created my Patreon. Over there, I break down the real side of music tech, business, how this industry actually works, the creative side. I'm talking exclusive podcasts with your favorite creators. And there's 3 ways that you can join. There's a support tier that starts at just $5 a month. That's for people who just want to support my work and get early access to the content that I create. The Creator Plus tier goes deeper into the tools, the workflows, the plugins, everything that I use to create and scale out my content. And then there's the Business Plus tier. This is where we talk strategy, monetization, ownership, all of the things that I do to make money, how I scaled a 7-figure company, how you can do it too, asking questions, all of the crazy things that you want to know about how to build a sustainable, real career in music. So if you're really ready to take this to the next level and grow your creative business this year, then please join me over there at Patreon. The link is down below. I'll talk to you guys over there. Let's get it.